What if I told you that the average modern SUV isn't designed to survive past 150,000 miles? Not because it can't, but because it was never meant to. Meanwhile, somewhere in North America, there's a 1990s SUV with nearly 500,000 miles that fired up this morning in sub-zero weather without any hesitation whatsoever. No warning lights, no software updates, no dealer visits required. And that's because there was a time when SUVs weren't rolling smartphones. They were mechanical machines built for remote terrain, harsh climates, and owners who expected decades, not lease cycles, out of their vehicles. So today, I'm counting down 12 old and used SUVs that routinely outlive brand new ones, not by luck, but by design. See, these vehicles come from an era where durability mattered more than quarterly profits, and reputation mattered more than touchscreens. So just before we do take a deep dive, it's imperative, as always, that you hit that like button and subscribe so that you get notified the minute we produce another game-changing video that affects your future choice of SUV. And I promise you'll appreciate it. So buckle up and let's take a deeper plunge. So let's start with one that proves toughness doesn't have to look intimidating. The early 2000s Honda CR-V quietly became one of the most indestructible compact SUVs that's ever been sold. Now, under the hood sits Honda's legendary naturally aspirated four-cylinder, an engine that simply refuses to self-destruct. So there are no turbochargers, no high-pressure fuel pumps, no fragile electronics, just a timing chain driven power plant that routinely crosses 300,000 miles with oil changes and basic care. The all-wheel drive system is mechanically simple. The transmissions are proven and the suspension components last far longer than modern equivalents. Now, these vehicles don't impress anyone in a parking lot, but they embarrass modern crossovers when it comes to longevity. When today's SUVs are sidelined by sensor failures, well, this Honda is still hauling groceries like nothing happened whatsoever. Now, if you need more space, but you wanted that same philosophy, Honda scaled it up. The first generation Honda Pilot took proven minivan hardware and they wrapped it in SUV practicality. The naturally aspirated V6 under the hood is one of Honda's longest lasting engines ever built. Yes, it uses a timing belt, but once that's handled, the rest of the drivetrain is remarkably resilient. Owners regularly exceed 250,000 miles with minimal drama. The all-wheel drive system is simple, the interior is logical, and the third row actually fits adults, something that many modern SUVs still fail to do. Now, again, it's not flashy, but it ages with dignity, and dignity, well, it lasts a lot longer than hype. So when SUVs were becoming glorified minivans, one manufacturer went the opposite direction. The second generation Nissan Xterra didn't pretend to be refined. It was a body-on-frame truck that was designed as an SUV, and that's exactly why it survives abuse that modern crossovers simply can't handle. The naturally aspirated V6 is under stress and paired with transmissions that don't panic under load. Solid axles, real four-wheel drive with low range and mechanical simplicity define this vehicle. You don't buy an Xterra for comfort, you buy it because it still works when conditions get ugly, and decades later, it usually still does. Next, of the most overlooked durability legends wears a badge most Americans forgot. I'm talking about the third generation Mitsubishi Montero, and it represents peak Japanese engineering before any cost-cutting took over. Now, built on a true ladder frame, it uses a drivetrain designed for global markets where failure isn't an option. Its full-time four-wheel drive system can be used on dry pavement without any damage, something many systems still can't do today. Now, the engine is under stress, the transmission is robust, and the chassis is far tougher than its soft-spoken reputation suggests. Now, these SUVs were engineered for the world, not for the showroom, and that's why they last. Now, Next up, let's talk about a full-size SUV that never pretended to be efficient, but it never pretended to be fragile either. I'm talking about the first generation Toyota Sequoia, which is essentially a full-size pickup truck with seats and windows. Built when Toyota's truck division refused to compromise, it uses a V8 that has become legendary for longevity. The drivetrain is massively overbuilt, the frame is stout, and the interior materials age far better than modern plastic-heavy cabins. Yes, fuel economy is poor, but reliability, well, that's elite. And these vehicles don't brake quietly, they simply don't brake often. Next up, few vehicles have earned cult status like the Jeep Cherokee XJ. Now, this SUV is beloved not because it's comfortable or refined, but because it's brutally honest. The inline six under the hood is one of the most durable engines ever installed in an SUV. Owners don't talk about if it'll reach 300,000 miles, they talk about when. Its simplicity is its strength. It's got solid axles, real transfer cases, and minimal electronics, making it serviceable anywhere with basic tools. Now, modern SUVs may look tougher, but they aren't tougher where it counts. Now, if you want real durability wrapped in genuine luxury, well, this is where things get really interesting. The Lexus GX 470 takes Toyota's most reliable SUV platform and it adds refinement without sacrificing toughness. Underneath the leather and wood is a ladder frame, full-time four-wheel drive, and one of the most durable V8s that have ever been produced. Now, these vehicles are just as capable off-road as they're comfortable on the pavement. Owners routinely exceed 250,000 miles, and depreciation has nearly stopped because buyers finally understand what they are. This was the last era of luxury that didn't compromise durability for technology. Now, next on this list is the fourth generation Toyota 4Runner, and it represents Toyota at its absolute peak. Available with either a bulletproof V6 or one of the most reliable V8s ever built, well, this SUV strikes a perfect balance between daily usability and long-term survivability. The body-on-frame design, the real four-wheel drive, and conservative engineering means that these vehicles routinely outlast modern replacements by decades. There's no software bugs, there's no subscription failures, just switches, gears, and steel doing exactly what they were designed to do. Now next, before the G-Wagon became a fashion accessory, it was something else entirely. Older Mercedes-Benz G-Class models were built on military-grade foundations. Ladder frames, locking differentials, and old-school mechanical systems dominate beneath the luxury. Yes, maintenance costs are higher, but hey, mechanical longevity is absolutely real. See, these vehicles were designed to survive war zones, deserts, and Arctic conditions. They weren't built for influencers, they were built to survive. So next, we're entering the upper tier of automotive immortality. The Lexus LX 470 is essentially a Land Cruiser wearing a tailored suit. Every major component is overbuilt. The engine, the transmission, the frame, they were all designed for the harshest environments on Earth. Now, these SUVs are known to exceed 300,000 miles without major mechanical failure. Interiors hold up better than modern luxury vehicles that cost twice as much. And this is what happens when durability is non-negotiable. So next up, we have the Land Cruiser 200 series, which represents Toyota's final no-compromise SUV built for North America. It's powerful, it's refined, and it's engineered to global durability standards that most manufacturers abandoned many years ago. These vehicles are used worldwide in conditions that would destroy modern luxury SUVs. Now, they depreciate slowly because they don't become obsolete, they simply keep going. So finally, we reach the absolute benchmark, and I'm talking about the Land Cruiser 80 series. Now, it isn't just the best SUV on this list, it may be the most durable SUV that's ever been built in history. Solid axles, mechanical systems, legendary engines, and engineered designs for decades of abuse. Examples with 500,000 miles are simply not myths, they're documented realities. See, these vehicles don't rely on software to survive. They rely on steel, gears, and over-engineering. So while modern SUVs became obsolete when electronics fail, well, these continue running long after most vehicles are forgotten. So these 12 SUVs prove that planned obsolescence is a choice, not a necessity. So if you value durability over hype, longevity over leases, and engineering over gimmicks, well, hey, these are the machines that quietly outlast everything around them. So as always, if this video helped you rethink what reliable really means, do me a favor and hit like, subscribe, and check out our daily videos. And in the meantime, have a wonderful day, my fellow SUV bargain hunters, and I'll see you guys on the next one.